Welcome, Hudson Valley. This is Conor Walsh, host of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. This week on In Touch, we have Mark Hurley and Terry Walsh from the International Association of Approved Basketball Officials here to promote IAABO's Officials vs. Cancer basketball tournament being held Saturday, February 3rd at Dutchess Community College. Officials vs. Cancer has grown to be one of the Hudson Valley's largest basketball tournaments that helps raise thousands of dollars for the American Cancer Society each year. We also discuss the importance of referee recruitment for the Hudson Valley athletics community and why proper etiquette on the court is important for teams and spectators alike. We invite you to join us and listen to a previously recorded conversation between Mark, Terry, and myself here on In Touch. Hello, Hudson Valley. You're listening to another edition of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We got a great episode for you guys today, and this one is near and dear to my heart. This has been a part of my family tradition for a long time. Plus, also, I just love basketball and seeing athletics here in the community, and it's great when everything can come together, especially representing a phenomenal charity. We're going to be talking about Officials vs. Cancer basketball tournament. It's been a highlight, a staple here in the Hudson Valley for several years, and with me today, I'm excited to speak with Mark Hurley, Officials vs. Cancer chair, and Terry Walsh, interpreter of the IAABO board. Mark, Terry, how are you guys today?
Great. Good to be here, Conor.
Great, Conor. Thank you for having us once again.
Absolutely. Really happy to have you guys back in. Last year with Officials vs. Cancer, I got to be there, got to see everything. Honestly, I've been there most years with you guys now, and that's because Terry over there, hi Dad, is my dad. It's such a great tournament. I love being a part of it every year and seeing the teams and the high schools come together and seeing what you guys do. For those who are unaware of what Officials vs. Cancer is, could you give a little bit of an overview of what it is for our listening audience right now?
Officials vs. Cancer is one of the charities that IAABO specifically has us contribute to. About 12 years ago, our past president, Kevin O'Connor, felt we should start a tournament. He had just gotten over a bout with cancer and thought that that would be the perfect way to promote the Officials vs. Cancer and contribute to the worthy cause. So about 12 years ago, we started the tournament, and it's been a success in the Hudson Valley ever since.
That's terrific. Now, the proceeds to this specifically go to the American Cancer Society, correct?
Yeah, all proceeds go to the American Cancer Society. We don't keep a dime.
Everything that comes in, minus expenses, obviously goes directly to ACS.
No, that's terrific. And of course, we've had them here on the show as well. So they are good friends of the show. So it's awesome to be able to see and represent them on so many levels here. So Mark, could you tell us a little bit of how things went last year? I believe you said you have some of the numbers of how well Officials vs. Cancer did last year. And then we can kind of get into what we're hoping and what we're expecting for this year.
Last year was probably one of our biggest years to date, minus the first couple of years where we started. COVID gave us a 2-year hiatus, back fresh and reinvigorated. We brought in over $11,000
wow.
For American Cancer Society, which was huge. That was our 9th year. And to date, IAABO, just our board alone, has brought in over $90,000 towards the American Cancer Society. And that's, I think, one of the largest donations in any IAABO group in the nation, I believe. We're in the top tier. And it's great that we've made it to year number 10 for this year coming up in 2024. So we look forward to something obviously even bigger than last year.
Absolutely. That's impressive, especially coming out of the hiatus with COVID and everything. COVID knocked out so many different organizations, all their different events, but you guys were able to come back strong. And I remember talking about this last year. Sponsors, people in the community, high schools were all eager and craving to get back into this because they appreciated what it was in the past and they wanted to see it come through. How's that going when it comes to this year? Are you still feeling that buzz from the community? How are the sponsors? How are the teams feeling getting ready for all this?
Once we got back on track, I think I'll say 10 for 11 as far as the teams go. The only bow out was due to a conflict, and they were really interested. That school had been asking me for years. They wanted to be a part of the tournament, so I had reached out to them. Unfortunately, the date that we had booked did not work out. But the other 10 teams, it was just yes, yes, yes. Going back and forth with the coaches has been a real pleasurable experience because it's off the court for starters.
Yes.
So there's a lot of good back and forth, but asking for rosters and availability and who your opponent would be, the conversation always ends with we're looking forward to being a part of this. Thank you guys for all you do. So it's not just to them a basketball game. It's an experience, an event, and something that their teams can remember and take with them for years.
No, that's terrific. And it's funny, even just going to the gym, I see so many people wearing Officials versus Cancer t-shirts when I'm there at the gym.
Got mine on today.
I got mine on.
Yep,
Which
mine
year do
too.
you have? I have last year's on. Yep.
Yeah.
Dad's got a couple
I have
years ago.
a couple years ago on.
Yep.
That one was the clean one in the pile.
There we go. Perfect. But see, and it's great to see that legacy live on. One thing we haven't mentioned yet, the Officials versus Cancer tournament that's happening this year, it's going to be Saturday, February 3rd, and that's going to be at Dutchess Community College, and it's going to be pretty much an all-day event, which is so impressive. For those who are wondering if their teams are playing, could you guys tell us the matchups that people can expect, and if you have like an estimation of the times, that would be great too.
Sure. We've got the first game starts at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's Roosevelt FDR against Cornwall, which is an interesting one in our household because I'm a Cornwall graduate and Conor is an FDR graduate. So we fight over that one.
Go Presidents.
Different T-shirts on.
Yeah. From what I understand, Cornwall's having a good year. So we're looking forward to seeing them. Then at 12:45, we've got Poughkeepsie versus Mayapack. Poughkeepsie always has a strong team, and we expect a big local crowd coming out to support Poughkeepsie. At 2:30, we have Red Hook versus Beacon. That should be a very evenly matched game. Both teams are doing fairly well, and we expect a good one out of that one.
That was a repeat of last year. It was such a great game. We decided,
Yes,
hey, you
that
guys
one-
want to play each other again? And
That one went right down to the wire
that was
last
the last
year.
second shot. Yep.
And then at 4:15, we have Walk Hill versus New Paltz. New Paltz been playing very well this year. And then we have at 6 o'clock, Spackenkill versus Haldane. Both teams are very good. We expect that to be a barn burner.
That should be the marquee matchup of the
Yeah.
night. That game.
That'd be
That's
exciting.
why we chose that game in
Put it there
in the final
last.
slot, because those are two strong and energetic teams. So that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
That's great.
We also want to thank Marco, the athletic director at Spackenkill. He's always been very good to us. He checks over our budget and submits it to the Section 9 for approval and helps us get this thing going smoothly.
Yeah, Marco's the athletic director at Spackenkill, and they are our school sponsor because we need a school to actually hold insurance for the tournament. So they have always been very helpful and complimentary to getting this thing with no questions asked. There's not a lot of red tape. It's smooth, and he's been doing it for years. So we appreciate Spackenkill's participation in this.
Speaking about thanks, there's a number of great organizations here in the Hudson Valley, groups, individuals that help put this thing on, and I know you guys wanted to give a shout out to them. So if you have some of those names, some people you like to thank, this would definitely be the moment for it.
Sure, Conor. I'll take a stab at the list. So we have quite a few sponsors, and this isn't a complete list because we're still taking in donations and there's still irons out in the fire. But wanted to acknowledge Arlington Inc., Baxter Industries, BSN Sports, which I want to return to donate the basketballs, City of Poughkeepsie Police Department, Eastdale Bagels, Athena Euro, Hudson Valley Knights, AAU Basketball Club, the Grill Wagon, MHA of the Hudson Valley, New England Cleaners, Potter Brothers, Rennie Store, Romeo Auto, Walsh Evaluation. There's a plug for Terry right there.
Yep.
The Renegades on Semiconductor, and of course, Matt Paquette at Dutchess Community College, who's, again, another instrumental piece to helping facilitate everything. I can't say enough about Matt and what he does for us as far as, I call him up with a question, do you have this, this, and this as far as supplies and tables and coolers? And it's always, yes, got it, no problem, don't worry about it, tables for the trainer, what have you. It's a very easy phone call, and they've been very, very hospitable at Dutchess. I've never had a worry whatsoever from them. So big shout out to Dutchess and Matt with his group and organization.
That's great.
The only hope is this year that they have the heat.
Yes.
The heat broke last year, so we
Yes.
had a very chilly
on the coldest,
opening.
on the
It was the
coldest day of
coldest
the
weekend
year.
of the year. It was freezing.
We had
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts coffees were freezing on the sideline. But by the time, the second game, we were good to go.
Getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. You only had to wear a light jacket inside. That's about it.
But From the basketballs that BSN donates, we used to give balls to the participating schools, which we thought was a nice gesture. But last year, I can't remember who came up with the idea, but I thought it was phenomenal. The 3 officials, we do 3-man work, which is great for our organization. We're always trying to get 3 people on a game. It just makes for a smoother game, a better called game, and that's something that we've been trying to push through the schools, and it's making some traction. But the officials for that game decide on an MVP. And
cool.
That game ball is given to that player of the team that they determine is the most valuable player. So I think that's a great little player official interaction and relationship that we can form there. And you could tell that there's not that it wouldn't be genuine, but there's just this level of excitement and like, oh my God, I won that. It's better, I think, to them for the whole of, oh my God, my teammate just got MVP of that game. And you could just see the excitement when that announcement's made.
And we really enjoy doing the 3-man at Dutchess Community College on a big college court because we don't get a lot of chances during the regular season to do it. But then we come to league playoffs and sectionals. A lot of our guys are doing 3-man. So all of a sudden we've switched from a 2-man mechanic to a 3-man. It's not always easy making the transition. So we really need the practice.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this and create the 3-man crews for the tournament, because we anticipate these guys to be working sectional finals and moving up through the state tournament in the next month or so. So, we want to get them on the court practicing.
It's great experience for all of them. You think about it from the high schoolers' point of view, this is great experience for them and their teams, but this is also a great experience for the referees because referees are always growing and learning and developing their skills. And that's something I want to touch on in just one moment. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We're speaking with Mark Hurley and Terry Walsh with IAABO. It's the basketball officials organization here around the area, and we're talking about officials versus cancer. It's going to be happening at Dutchess Community College on Saturday, February 3rd, happening all day with phenomenal Hudson Valley teams playing throughout the day. Not just that, we also have the referees to thank, putting it all together, and also for being around in the community, taking care of all these games and making sure that everything goes well. One thing you were just talking about with the referees, this is a great learning opportunity for them. This is a great way for them to be able to get into the 3-man versus the 2-man, which they'll deal with majority of the season. But one thing about that learning opportunity is about the recruitment and getting people in and the retention and things along those lines. And I know you guys are all looking for new refs every single year because you just want to build on things. Why is it so important that we have a strong network of referees here in the Hudson Valley?
Well, we have a number of games to cover, and that charter is to cover all these high school games. We're graying out. We're an older organization. I've been doing this for 39 years. Luckily, I haven't had any injuries, but we have a number of officials who have recently retired. So we've got to fill the ranks. You'll notice a lot of the officials that are working this tournament are guys that haven't been working more than 10, 15 years, and they've moved up quickly, and they filled in the spots for the guys who have retired. So now we've got to bring in more guys that will fill the ranks, and we've got many nights when we have trouble covering all the games, and we're doubling up, and we're getting calls from assigners, and can you fill in here? Can you go there? And it's very difficult. We need new people all the time.
I just got a text message before I walked in the door that someone was notified that they had to double up today. Like Terry said, I think IAABO has made it a little bit easier or more
streamlined.
Streamlined or accessible, I guess. It's more online accessibility for taking the class and taking the course. One of the athletic directors at one of the local high schools actually just completed the course.
Oh, great.
And wants to be an official.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I think that facet of the training makes more and more people like, oh, okay, I might give this a try versus the classroom. It's between this week and you have to be there, and that's tightens your schedule, and maybe I can or can't do it. But it's definitely a problem that we thought was going to go away after COVID, but it has not gone away. We still have scheduling issues. And, of course, the worst case of the situation is you cancel a game.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is, tell a high schooler that was looking forward to playing basketball that day that, hey, your game's canceled. We can't find the officials. So
yeah. And if you can't find the officials over and over again, canceled games, that interferes with the seasons, that interferes with all the schedules and everything. It's a trickle-down effect, and it's a much bigger problem than just simply saying it's like, oh, no basketball today. It really does affect the entire school community.
Without officials, it's just a pickup game.
Yeah.
We're needed.
Yeah, it's not just basketball because the schools have a set day. It's, Tuesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday. You have girls basketball, you have wrestling. You have other things going on, so it's not as easy as, we'll just play it tomorrow. And by the way, you just move that game, and they move it to a date where there's already 25 other games going on, so who's going to do the game that just got moved to that date? That's the trickle effect that you were referring to.
It becomes a hassle.
Yeah, it becomes a mess. And it's not fair to the, you get a lot of people, and there's maybe some level of truth to it just from a fatigue or endurance standpoint, but you see someone that's doing 2 games, the second game, is that person able to give 110%? I'm sure mentally they're trying to give 110%, but if, you've just done 3 days in a row and this is your second double up, your legs are tired. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what IAABO has developed for us, traditionally what we used to do is every October we had a class. You took the test in the beginning of November, and then you became an official for that season. Well, we were finding we were losing people that way. So what we're doing now is IAABO has developed what they call IAABO University, and it's an online class. I took it just so I knew what was going on. It's very good. It's 20 sessions, and there's a quiz at the end of each session, and it gets you ready for the 50-question final that you have to pass with an 80 or above in order to become an official. Now they have a follow-up program to that where you also take a mechanics positioning and signal class right after that. So the total is $75. You go either contact me at walshvaluation@gmail.com, or you can go on to the IAABO website, which is IAABO.org, and right on the front page is the application to become a referee. So you just put your information in, give them your credit card, and off you go. In the last 2 years, we probably signed up over 16 people, which is great, but still not enough. So we need more. And this way, we can bring people in all year round instead of having to worry about, I can't make the class on Monday and Thursday nights in October. Now they can take it anytime, pass. We try to get them out on the floor, start working with them, and then they become an official.
That's terrific. And it's such a great way to get out in the community, a great way to be involved with sports, especially if you love basketball. And it's a great way, you're making a little extra money there too. So that's good. So absolutely.
IAABO stands for I am a bad official.
Oh my God. I never heard that before. That's funny.
Just to clarify, the real thing is International Association of Approved Basketball Officials.
Beautiful. Glad that we have the official.
2 versions.
Yes, the official acronym. But Mark, I want to harp on that first version you gave us there for a second, actually, because want to talk about the treatment of referees. One thing that you'll see, whether it's high school level, college level, NBA, heck, it could be your kid's 5-year-old CYO, whatever. Parents and people in the community love to heckle referees. People love to go after referees and sometimes forget that you guys are doing a public service here and you're trying to make things go as best as you can. You guys have the expertise, but then you can get heckled. You can be harassed. Tell the Hudson Valley community and In Touch listeners right now why it's so important to have proper basketball court etiquette.
I would be remiss because I did forget to thank or recognize the 15 officials that are doing the game. Those 15 officials are donating their game fee back to us for a donation to the American Cancer Society. So that's always
big.
been a tradition.
That's big. And that's great etiquette right there.
Yeah, so that's the lead-in.
Yep.
So we remember we are doing these games for free.
And it's funny because once the ball goes up, for these coaches and these fans and these players, this is a game that counts.
Yes.
This counts. I'm a parent. I'm going to watch my daughter play a varsity basketball game in an hour and a half. And I know what it's like to sit there and you go back and forth and you get into that mode and you become competitive and you want to see your child succeed. It's a very biased, we all know that, where it's the referee could possibly be, that's targeting after my kid. And we hear everything. I've heard it all. And I kind of laugh with it because I always enjoy the comment that you hear from the stands every now and then, and they think it's a gotcha, and I'm like, let's see, that's number 72 this year. I've heard that, and I let it roll off. I try to ignore it. I actually sometimes, if there's a timeout, I might look at the person and say, did I miss that one? And you kind of engage them. And for my personal experience, I don't engage by any means someone who I think is going to be malicious or negative, but you can tell, and if you look at them and talk to them and then realize that you're just a person out there, sometimes it makes a connection and it makes a difference that, hey, I don't care who wins the basketball. I don't think there's an official that I'm aware of that ever has gone out into a high school basketball game and goes, man, I really want Red Hook to beat Beacon by 30. It's just not there. I'm out there because I played basketball. I love watching basketball, and I love officiating basketball, and I love watching kids make mistakes and learn and compete. And that sounds like a line, but really is. The day I'm like, where's my check is the day I got to stop doing it, because It's just, I have fun when I'm out there. I have fun with the coaches. They might yell at me one day. They might, hey, what's going on? The next day you see them out at the mall. They say, hey, Mark, how's it going on? It's just a dynamic relationship, and you've got to have that understanding of where you are out on the court. And I think at the end of the day, there's always those self-reflections of, should I have said that or should I have not have said it? But I think the most important thing to realize is the officials are out there because they enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's the blanket statement.
Yeah, I mean, I came from an athletic background. My dad was a phys ed teacher, a coach, athletic director, official. I used to follow him around as a kid, carrying the bag in on Friday night, going in and watching. I met all the other officials who were my dad's friends and thought, these guys are wild. These are great. These are great characters. I want to be like that. And as soon as I had the chance, I did become that. But, you talk about people in the stands. I had a heckler one night, and I'm like, he doesn't know the rule changed. And I want to give him my business card and say, come to my class, because you don't know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, they don't know. It's tough sometimes. I had two people one time. One said, hold your whistle. The other guy said, blow it more. I said, would you guys get together and decide how you want this game done? Because I can't figure it out.
I had a student, I started laughing. You could hear dead silence. They yell, I'm going to come down and grab your whistle from you. I just started laughing. But I had some high school kids heckling me at a game up north, and they were giving me the glasses comment, and I'm just kind of laughing. So I turned to them and I said, guys, I just filed a lawsuit with my eye doctor. And the LASIK surgery did not go well. And these three kids looked at me, and they were my best friends the rest of the game. They were talking to me, and it was one of those moments where you're just like, yeah, whatever.
I got heckled one night by a priest at a game. He was sitting in the front row with a collar on. I go, really? But it happens. Let me just say one thing. Probably 75 to 80% of the games that we do go very smoothly. Yeah. Everything is wonderful. You have a great experience on the court. But then there's that 20 to 25% that you can bring back to the bar and tell your friends about, that this happened or that happened. And we do take this very seriously. I mean, we call each other up. We've got guys who watch video constantly of their games or someone else's games. We go to classes, we go to meetings, we watch videos. We take this very seriously. Most of the guys out there are really trying to do the very best they can. Like, I'll be out watching a game and I'll get a call later that night. How did I look? What did you see? You know, it's not that we're not trying. We're out there every night trying to be as consistent as we can, one game to the next.
There's a lot of truth to the statement. It only takes one, right? The 99.99% of the time, it's smooth sailing, and you just get the squeaky wheel gets the grease, where that becomes the epitome of what happens sometimes. And that one bad call or that one mistake, you're like, oh man, did you see that travel he called with 3 seconds left? Could you believe it? And you might have had the best game you refereed the whole hour and 15 minutes prior to that, and you just blow that travel, and you're like, oh, there goes my perfect game. But I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah.
But
Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We're speaking with Mark Hurley and Terry Walsh with Officials vs. Cancer. The Officials vs. Cancer tournament is going to be happening Saturday, February 3rd at Dutchess Community College. Going to be a great day of games for the entire Hudson Valley community. You're going to have snacks. You're going to have food. You're going to have raffles and prizes, T-shirts being sold. Just a lot of fun and a lot of great basketball. You said before you had 15 officials that are going to be taking care of these games. They're donating their time. Do you have the list of names to shout them out specifically?
We got Vince Argemma, Tom Biskup, Grant Grabowicki, Brandon Gibson, Brian Lindhorst, Vinny Sari Jr., Vinny Sari Sr., me, Terry Walsh, Zach Harkenreiter, Eric Shetter, Kevin Coughlin, John McCormick, Mark Hurley, Greg Babbitt, and Matt Kurzel.
Terrific group. And of course, got to say thank you for everybody donating their time for this and this wonderful tournament. Before we wrap up, what is the best way that people can support Officials versus Cancer? It's to show up, right?
Show up. That's fill the seats, create the environment, create the excitement, cheer for your school. It's a Saturday afternoon. Mm-hmm. It's purposely done in between the AFC and NFC Championship week and the Super Bowl, so there's no prepping needed.
Yep, no football to worry about.
Yeah. We'll have our own, like you mentioned, so we got, we're selling T-shirts. We got a new, my brother-in-law, a brand new design. I'll plug him. He designed our 10th year logo for the shirts. We have halftime competitions put on by Mr. Vince Argemma, who will also be emceeing. Mm-hmm. And in addition, we're going to have a slew of officials that you can come and ask questions to, volunteering their time at the door, working the table, helping with scores and escorting teams. High school kids that were looking for community service hours, we offer that up. So it's just a big shindig.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and it's great. Everyone comes together and have a great time.
Awesome. And of course, for those who are looking to become an official, you guys can check out IAABO.org, or you can also hit up my dad at walshvaluation@gmail.com. Of course, all links and information will be in the description of this episode. Guys, again, thank you so much for being here on In Touch. Really looking forward to Officials versus Cancer this year. Can't wait to see what comes out of it, and play ball, everybody. Let's have a great game.
Yep.
Thank you, Conor. Appreciate it.
Make all your shots.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
There you go.
Good night.
This has been this week's edition of In Touch, the award-winning public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. We want to give a big thank you to Mark and Terry. For more info on Officials versus Cancer or on how to become a referee, visit their website, IAABO.org, their Twitter page, IAABO 114, or their Facebook page, Hudson Valley Boys Basketball Referees. You can also email Terry directly at walshvaluation@gmail.com. Of course, all information can be found in the description of this episode, including a donation link for the tournament. I've been your host, Conor Walsh. Until next time, stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time.